we got our headstock logo on. It's time to install the tuners and the string retainer bar. Okay, so for this instrument I wanted all black hardware and 6 inline guitar tuners were the cheapest option. So yes, I have 2 extras, but it was like the same price as buying ukulele tuners. And I couldn't find uke tuners in black. So you're like, hey, cool, I pulled the old tuners out, I'm just gonna drop these in. Oops, guess what? Yes, that's right, there are different size holes for different tuners. So yes, we're gonna have to drill these holes larger for the tuners to fit. So let's do that. I'm looking for a drill bit that is going to be a little bigger than the size of the shaft of this thing. So actually here, what I'm going to do is I think this one is the exact same size as the shaft of the tuner. So I'm going to drill one of these out using one that is the same size to see how that works, because that may work fine, or we may need a bigger one, I'm not sure. I need to get this up to speed. I'm drilling through from the front because I want any tear out that might happen to be on the back, so the tuner will cover it. But let's go ahead and try from both sides. These really big drill bits tend to always be a struggle to use without them just stopping. I don't really know what to do about that, honestly. As soon as it gets in there, it just stops. I think this may be why people have drill presses. I'm not sure. Okay, we're getting closer. Got enough of the hole started. Should be able to see. Well, it looks like it's going into that hole. So let's try to get this one all the way through and see if it ends up being the right size. Okay, got it all the way through. Thank goodness. Yeah. Wow, it's great. Okay, so good thing I didn't go up to the larger size. So now let's drill out all the holes for these tuners. Alright, so now that we have all the tuners just pushed in from the back, the next thing we need to do is take the bag of tuner hardware. And we're going to need 3 things for each tuner. We're going to need a screw to keep it from turning. That goes into the back. I honestly don't know what this is called, but it's the part that screws in to the tuner. I think might be a bushing, and then a washer. So the way this works is washers are usually more rounded on one side. So you have the rounded side facing up, the flat side facing down, and you put the bushing through it, if that's what it's called, and hand tighten the bushing all the way down. And then that's it for the front for now. I'm not gonna tighten it all the way until I get the screw in the back to hold it in place. Just do this for all four, especially with these cheap Chinese tuners. If it's struggling to thread correctly, just back it out, back it back in a couple times. Usually will fix the situation. So, flat side, rounded side. Make sure the rounded side is up. For tightening these things down, I believe there are specialty tools. I had a little multi-hex, like flat wrench thingy that had one of its cutouts. It was just the right size. But I sold that in the yard sale, so I don't have it anymore. So I'm struggling to get bushing to thread in that one. So since I have 2 extra tuners, I'm just gonna pop in another one. See if this one behaves better. Alright, so the thing with tuners is you for at least these inline style, but really any tuner, is you want them to be in a line. They look best when all the tuner shafts sticking out are perpendicular to this line on the back side of the headstock, top side of the headstock, and when they are all parallel with each other. So yeah, they look best when they are all in line with one another. So what we want to do is put in the screw that keeps it from turning for each of these, and make sure that they're all parallel with each other so that they look like a nice repeating pattern. If they are off, not parallel with each other, it will look kind of meh. So again, the best thing to do would be have a little thin-necked awl that you could push through here and mark those holes. Once again, sold mine yard sale. So I'm gonna find a file. File with a round tip. This really doesn't work that great, but it should be good enough. Just try to get it in the center of the screw hole. And then electric screwdriver. Boop. All poked a deeper hole, it would start the screw more easily. up when you're putting these down, especially these cheap Chinese tuners. These are going to be very very cheap metals, so they're going to have a tendency to strip out really easily. So I'm going to try to put some counter pressure. It's not working. Okay, I'm just going to have to use a manual screwdriver. Make sure I don't strip it out. Even then, it doesn't guarantee anything, but it's less likely to strip it. Alright, so that's not flying at all. And you know, the only thing these are for is to prevent the tuner from turning, because it's locked into place. It's down, pressed down by the bushing on the front. So once again, because I have 2 extra tuners, I have 2 extra screws. So this one is stripped out, so it's just a waste. So I'm just going to get rid of it. Just unscrew it using pliers. And because these screws are just to keep the tuner from rotating, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill out the beginnings of the holes for these guys. To make it easier to put them in. It won't be as tight a fit as if I had not done that, but because, like I said, it doesn't really matter. These are not really going to hold anything together, they're just going to prevent the tuner rotating. So if I can find a small enough drill bit, I'm just going to pop holes in there. See if I can find a tiny little guy. I didn't find anything super small. Just need something small enough that, and it doesn't even have to technically go through the hole in the tuner there. You can just rotate the tuners out of the way and start a little hole with this guy. I just need to start it so that the screws don't have to do as much work getting into the material. So that's what I'm going to do. So I've just started the holes, drilled in a tiny little bit, not very deep at all. Hopefully that'll be enough to get these cheap Chinese screws to get going in there. Good. I don't even have to like fully seat all the way down, honestly. I just need to get in there enough to hold their position. Yep, it's looking pretty good. Alright, do the last 2. To a certain level, and then they just start stripping out, so I'm trying to stop as soon as that happens. Okay, somebody needs to get these out at some point in the future. Alright, so that's enough to keep them from rotating. So now I need to determine how we're going to tighten down these bushings. So you can just, throw any kind of pliers on there, but you are going to knock, corners off the finish. So it's up to you how you want to try to approach it. You can see here on the back, I knocked the finish off the corners with these black tuners. Just trying to install that screw. They're a little fragile. So I'm gonna go see if I can find an adjustable wrench. Might be a better fit tightening this down. Alright, well, it doesn't look like we have any adjustable crescent wrenches around here, so I'm just gonna have to make do with what we got. And if you have really long sockets, you can also use a socket wrench to tighten these down. Don't seem to have any of those either. Just trying to be as delicate as I can. Once again, now that you have the screws in the back, as you tighten this, the tuner on the back isn't going to spin, which it would have done otherwise. So that's why we do the screws on the back first, so that when you go to tighten this down, the tuner isn't rotating with the bushing. So just a little tip there. Okay, I think those are all in. Good, so tuner install done. Check. Alright, so now you need to put on the string retainer bar. And this is important, only if you don't enjoy strings popping out of the nut slots. That's a joke. Of course, you don't want that. So basically the logic is that it goes on the down slope to the tuners so that the strings can be redirected. So I'm basically just going to put it here. Kind of toward the bottom of the slope of the neck there. I apologize for how I sound. I got sick. But as I'm fond of saying, deadlines, they don't move no matter what happens. So I keep pressing on. So I'm using the tip of the file, which, like I said, should be an awl. Drill out a couple holes there. And you're not going to drill this all the way down. You just want it. You just want it low enough so that the Just want it low enough so that the strings will be redirected to about the height of the tuner holes. So that looks about right to me. And of course you can adjust this once you get the strings on if it isn't giving you the the effect that you desire. So anyways, that's the last bit of the neck before it goes on the body. So let's move on to that.